Okay, I've been requested to do number 3 on page 236, so I'm going to go ahead and do that with y'all. Okay, so here's the problem. 3x plus 2y equals -2. I need to make a t-chart for this to be able to graph my points for x and y. And so there's also some other ways that you could do this than just doing a t-chart, but we're going to start with the t-chart and then I'll show you other ways to do this. Okay, so I want whatever I do here to equal -2. So one of the things that I see right away is if I made y -1, so that would make this whole thing -2, then this side would need to be 0, right? So I'm going to say x is 0, then y is -1. Okay, and then the next part is if I made, let's say I made this a 2. If I make x equals to 2, okay, so that's a 6. So x is equal to 2. Then what would this need to equal to make this -2? This would have to equal -8, right? So that means my y needs to be -4. Okay, so I'm just making some points so I can graph this. Notice I did not choose 1 for x because that would make it an odd number, and then this would be too hard to make it an even number. So instead I pick even numbers. Okay, so I could do that the other way also. I could say, okay, I'm going to rewrite this down here. 3x plus 2y equals -2. Okay, so I could make x a -2. So if I make x a -2, that would make this -6. So up here, I'm going to put that I made x -2. Then what do I need to make y, or what do I need to make this side to make -2? Well, this side needs to be 4, right? So if this has to equal 4, then what does y equal? Y equals 2. Okay, so there's my points that I'm going to graph on a graph. So I'm going to do my graph here. Okay, this is way more than I need. I'm just trying to get a graph on here. Okay, so the first point is 0, 1. That means x is 0 and y is -1. So that means the point's going to go right here. Okay, the next point is 2, 4, or 2, -4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2, -4. And then the next one is -2, 2. Okay, there's my point. So now I'm going to put a line in between them. Okay, this is a little bit easier to do on my thing. Well, it's easy and hard. I kind of would like to have a ruler, but my thing will also straighten out my line. There we go. Okay, it's not perfect because it didn't go through those points evenly. But there's my line. That's how you graph it. So the instructions said for each equation, make a table of at least 3 ordered pairs. That's what we did up here. So there's 1 ordered pair, the 2nd ordered pair, the 3rd ordered pair. Okay, then it says, then graph the equation, and then give the y-intercept for each graph. So the y-intercept means where it's going to cross this y-axis, right? So I already have that point right here. It was actually one of my points, 0, -1. So when it asks you what the y-intercept is, it's this point where it crosses. So that's 0, -1. Now, the other way to find a y-intercept, it's telling you to graph here, but it taught you in the book how to find it in example 3 in the video. It showed you in example 3 that you can also find the y-intercept by putting 0 for x. So in the problem, 3x plus 2y equals -2. If you put 0 in for x, then whatever you get for y is going to be your y-intercept. So when I solve this problem, this is going to equal 0. So I have 2y equals -2, divide by 2, and I get y equals -1. So my x was 0, right? That's what my x was, and my y is -1. So this is the y-intercept. Now, if they say, what is the y-intercept? You can also just say the y-intercept is 1. So I think that's the way they wrote it with the point there. So Or you could say it intercepts the y-axis at -1. Okay, but this is the answer that's in the back of the book for the y-intercept. So I'm not sure which part you were having problems with, but here's how to make the t-chart, which is the first part. Find your 3 ordered pairs. Here's how to graph them, okay? And you could also number your graph if that helps you. In fact, sometimes I'll tell you you have to number your graph, but on here, just because it was learning process, I didn't do that. And then here is a way to find your y-intercept. You could find it on the graph, which is just where it crosses the y-axis. Remember, this is the y-axis. Or you can do a whole equation making x 0, and then the y, that will give you the y-intercept. Now, why do I make the x 0? Because if you look at this x where I'm writing all these lines, the y-axis or the y is on the 0 of x. So I make x equal to 0, and all these numbers on the y-axis have x equals 0. Okay, I hope that helped you.